Wrestling is a form of entertainment where during normal years, fellow wrestlers are traveling and spending more time together than they do with their families. Traveling for 200 plus days out of a year, there's a good chance that they will develop feelings for each other as they're practically living together. On top of that, if two are together on screen, this can lead to them getting far closer and becoming involved in a relationship. This is Wrestling Up, and here are 10 wrestlers who marry their managers in real life. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Up and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Torrie Runnels made her debut in WWE in 1998 as actress Marlene Dietrich. However, her gimmick was different from that, with the exception of the fact that she did not care what was going on around her, as she appeared to be busy with other thoughts and things all the time. Runnels managed Dustin Rhodes, known as Goldust, in WWE, with them getting married 3 years prior while in WCW. However, this was not a marriage that would last, as they separated in 1999. During their time together, they were a part of quite a few fun storylines. Missy Hyatt is one of the most recognizable names from the old days of WCW. She was a star there in 1986 and was managing her then boyfriend John Tatum. However, when she went to the Universal Wrestling Federation, she left Tatum and instead joined and became the star of Eddie Gilbert's Hot Stuff International stable. At the same time, behind the scenes, Hyatt started dating Eddie Gilbert. Then unfortunately, Tatum left the promotion, with the two getting married. They went to the NWA in 1987, but unfortunately again, Missy Hyatt was far more successful than Eddie. In the end, they divorced in 1989 and Gilbert left the NWA. Most fans know Stone Cold Steve Austin as the Rattlesnake, the man who helped turn around the Monday Night Wars and almost single-handedly led WWE through the revolution of the Attitude Era. Back in the day, he was stunning Steve Austin and had a valet, Jeannie Clark. Later on, Clark was named Lady Blossom. They had a lot of charisma and ability, as a result of which they were signed by WCW. Lady would be Austin's manager and retired soon after joining when she became pregnant with Austin's daughter. They spent a lot of time together and grew extremely close. Austin left his first wife and married Clark in 1992, the year his first marriage was annulled. They did not end up staying together, as Steve would divorce Lady in 1999. Mark Mero was one of the bigger competitors in WCW during the early 90s, known as Johnny B. Bad. After he left, he signed with WWE and came in as a babyface and accompanied to the ring by his wife Sable, but unfortunately for Mero, he suffered an accident that kept him out of action for half a year. Sable had gotten so much attention that when he returned in October, he became a heel, jealous of the adoration that Sable received from fans. In the end, they had an intergender match at Over the Edge in 1998, after which both Sable and Mero left WWE. Sable returned and would be a popular part of the Attitude Era. They had been married in 94 but divorced in 2003, with Sable later marrying Brock Lesnar. Torrie Wilson may now be remembered for her accomplishments in the ring, but originally when she joined WCW, she had no wrestling experience. She was David Flair's valet and convinced him to turn on his father. Soon enough, Wilson was interested in Billy Kidman. On screen, she changed her loyalties, joining Kidman to beat Flair and became his manager. Wilson soon left Kidman on screen, but behind the scenes, they got together. When they came to WWE as a part of the Invasion, they started together and eventually got married in 2003, with them divorcing later in 2008. Diamond Dallas Page was a fan favorite in WCW, but in the early 90s he was a heel manager and came out to the ring with a different valet each week. The women were called as Diamond Dolls, one being Kimberly, who DDP would later marry. DDP became a dominant heel wrestler and Kimberly was the innocent valet. When Randy Savage disrespected her on screen, DDP, who had become a babyface, revealed their relationship and had a feud with Savage and Miss Elizabeth. Page became a star because of the feud, while Kimberly was one of the leaders of the Nitro Girls. Even though their pairing was popular, they ended up divorcing amicably in 2005. Triple H, early in his career, was always accompanied by someone to the ring. As a part of DX, he was hardly ever without Shawn Michaels, Chyna, and Rick Rude. Later, he was joined by the New Age Outlaws and X-Pac. Though as a part of DX, Stephanie McMahon would accompany him to the ring on a regular basis and used to be his manager. Over time, with different storylines, the two got romantically involved. Even though Vince McMahon was not personally okay with Triple H being that close to his daughter, there was nothing he could do. He tried to keep them separate, but they got married in October of '03. They have 3 daughters and are busy leading WWE as a company. Another popular pair in WWE was Sharmell and Booker T. Sharmell was originally a part of WCW and was hired by WWE after the promotion was bought out. Following that, she was released but came back in 2005. She was made the valet of her real-life husband Booker T. Booker had been dating Sharmell for some time in real life, and she teamed up with Booker as his manager. She started to interfere in his matches and helped him in his heel turn, eventually helping him win the US title. She would continue to be his manager and was a part of King Booker's court after he won the King of the Ring tournament, and was then known as Queen Sharmell. They would hold the World Heavyweight title, which was one of Booker T's better runs. Unfortunately, there was a conflict backstage about the future direction of Booker T and Sharmell's gimmick, as a result of which they left and went to TNA. Rusev and Lana had gotten closer when working together during their time on NXT. On July 26th of 2016, they got married. For a time, instead of being Bulgarian, Rusev was said to be from Russia, with Lana being called the Ravishing Russian. As a result, they traveled together and were romantically involved. Lana was a no-nonsense manager, but later she left Rusev on screen for Dolph Ziggler. Before their marriage, they announced their engagement publicly when they were not together in storyline, something WWE did not take well. The angle with Ziggler was scrapped, but would be revisited, with Lana leaving Rusev again, this time for Bobby Lashley. Rusev would leave WWE soon after, as that photo showing off their engagement may have spelled the end for his WWE career. Still, Lana is now trying her best to wrestle with her now having no one to manage. Possibly the most popular wrestling pair, Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth, were always together on screen. Savage was heading towards the WWE title, and Elizabeth was with him when he won it at WrestleMania 4. Unfortunately, due to a change in storyline, their time together came to an end, as Elizabeth was replaced by sensational Sherry. Savage was rescued by Elizabeth at Mania 7 when Sherry turned on him and started to attack and berate him after his loss. By that time, Elizabeth and Savage were actually married, which was in 1984, and they stayed together for 8 years. They even had an on-screen wedding in WWE at SummerSlam 1991. Unfortunately, their real-life divorce took place only a year after their on-screen wedding, which was in 1992. And these were 10 wrestlers who married their managers in real life. Hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.